Hello and welcome to the LibertyWERX podcast. I have with me here Matt Byous, and we're going to be talking about the refinery and his experiences.
Thanks for having me, John.
How was the refinery? Give me some main things that you did.
So going into the refinery, I really didn't have an idea of what I was really getting into. It kind of just came out of really nowhere. Just 6 weeks prior to that, we had our safety cross flow, and I mentioned what we were working on with the augmented reality. And then a week later, I had an email for start doing stuff for a TUI, and I had just started building out my team for what we were trying to do because I had found other essentially silos from around the Air Force that were trying to get into augmented reality, and we're just building them out. And then I had to get them on board to come TUI with us to the refinery. And it was kind of like all this started spinning like super fast, and kind of like things tend to go in the innovation space where like an idea starts running and then it's running. Really started to get fast paced there. And then we had our 2 weeks virtual to start, which was a lot of information, a lot of work, stuff that even being in the innovation space prior to that, so much information that I hadn't even known. Then we had our week in Right Pat with the folks from AFRL and AFMC and a lot of those places there that are Right Pat. And then we went to DC and we were at the Pentagon. Me and my team were like cold calling offices to try to get meetings, which was essentially what they asked us to do. It's like, you got this project, you got this product, you're trying to sell it, essentially. So find your stakeholders and get it sold. So that's what we did.
So you were trying to sell the AR idea or another idea?
Well, actually, while we were there, we pivoted from just the original, I got this cool augmented reality idea to, we discovered that there's no requirement for the Air Force to do augmented reality or where it plays in the Air Force ecosystem. So we pivoted to getting the requirement written to get AFNet to allow the extended reality to connect to AFNet, because in that these silos will be able to communicate to each other, because there's several extended reality platforms out there across the Air Force already. They just can't play with the other stuff that's out there.
So how did you get this off the how'd you get this off the ground, or how did about augmented reality?
So I had seen some stuff out there on what individuals were doing with augmented reality in other spaces of the world. I'd seen some of its applications in the medical field. I'd seen some of the application in what the private sector was doing in aircraft maintenance, which was my primary focus. I'd seen it in construction, in firefighting. You see it in the special ops community in some of those places of how they use it in a way of like blue force tracking and things like that. So I really wanted to get after it to help our maintainers, because right now with the current talent management that we have in the Air Force and the reduction in force and the retention rates of where they're at, we're not keeping the experience. And if we do keep the experience, we promoted it out of where it's actually applying in maintenance, and there are more managers now than actually doing the maintenance. So I really wanted to help our aircraft availability and saving us time and wasting time to help us out.
So how did the refinery help teach you how to advertise, how to bring about AR?
Well, they taught me how to build a one-pager that actually got the point across. Especially speaking in military terms, right? You're not going to get a lot from just talking to somebody about an idea. You've got to give them a return on their investment. That's one of the key things that I learned of that from my one pager. Of what I really needed to do was like showcase where they're going to see the results of what this is going to bring to them. So I really wanted to bring that aspect to it. And then there was just being confident in your project, teaching you how to pitch your project, what you were trying to say in your communication, how you get people to engage and buy in. That was another piece to it that they really hammered home. We did a lot of pitch coaching, working on like a 30-second pitch, minute, 2-minute, 3-minute, 5-minute. We practiced it through there and refined it as we were there.
All right. I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Okay.
Can you give me 15-second pitch about AR?
Okay. The Air Force needs augmented reality, especially in aircraft maintenance, with our loss in talent management and retention rates currently.
Okay. And then how can you help teach other airmen or other people or investors on one pagers and just refining their 30-second pitch, or boost it up to a 2-minute?
The key to the one pager is getting the information that is going to get them to want to look at more. You don't want to put so much words on there that they can't read it or it just looks like a mess. You got to make it clean, neat, to the point, and make it a true one pager. A lot of people will put like a front and back on it. They don't. A lot of, especially in the military, right? Your senior enlisted, your high-ranking officers, they don't have time to read through 2 pages of something that's just an idea. They want to get to the point on a one pager, and they're going to go through it. That's what they're going to want to see on the pitch. You're going to have to show them exactly what they're going to need to have buy-in. That is the key to that 30-second pitch. You're going to have to get them into where they're going to want to hear more.
Okay.
And what's going to give them the most bang for their buck in that 30 seconds.
All right. Well, is there any other big topics that you've learned in Refinery?
I learned, especially in the ecosystem there, that there's some really talented people out there, and there's a lot of great ideas. At our cohort, Eglin Air Force Base had 3 ideas there from them. And their Firefighter of the Future initiative that they had there, it was an awesome one. Their RFID project that they're trying to work is another one that's should go Air Force wide, and we should work on refining that process for the Air Force and changing the policies, because that's a thing that's going to save us hundreds of thousands of man hours across the Air Force. So just a couple of those things, like Kathy Reed down there, she's killing it. And I'm hoping to work more with her and learn more from her, because she's got some awesome stuff coming out of Edmond. And it's awesome to see the Air Force like empowering us at this level, at the base level, to go to things like the refinery, to where they see the potential in it, to where it can scale, and giving, like myself, a tech sergeant, the opportunity to go and showcase this to folks at the Pentagon that have 2 and 3 stars on their shoulders, and the highest enlisted member of the Air Force, Chief Bass. We got to sit down and talk with her and pitch our ideas to her. So the fact that they're allowing us that avenue is awesome, and really shows that even at our level, we can make changes.
That's pretty cool. So if top 2 projects, what would you bring home?
From the refinery, the 2 that we have there, like I said, the Firefighter of the Future one, especially with the 5th gen capabilities of the aircraft, and they're still using the same tools from the 80s that they were cutting into F4s with. So bringing the technology in that aspect to where we're able to get a pilot out faster in the event of a mishap is huge. That's a huge thing for our CDAR program, the Crash Damage Disabled Aircraft Recovery program as well. That's something that can expand to them. So as we as we advance our technologies, we can't just lag on the equipment that we use to sometimes, in the event of mishap, recover those aircraft. So we've got to advance along with it. And I think that their Firefighter of the Future initiative, their rehab trailer that they had included in that is helping reduce the carcinogenics that their firefighters are exposed to, and the length of exposure is another one that's huge. They've a lot of firefighters end up, especially now with these 5th-gen aircraft, battling cancer because of the carcinogenics that are in those aircraft and not having the right equipment to rehab. So that's another one that was really awesome to see, that they're taking the time to do the research and taking care of their firefighters in that capacity. And hopefully that spreads across the Air Force so that we give the rest of our firefighters that.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Saving money like that, especially healthcare.
Absolutely.
But is there about the refinery, is there any good process improvements they taught y'all?
About the refinery's process improvements, the ways that they could do things better, or like for us to do things better from the innovation space?
You can give me the way we can make things better.
I think as we bring in projects to really see the potential of the scaling and look at it from not just the base angle, but the Air Force angle. A lot of the things we look to do, especially here at Lakenheath, we try to take care of Lakenheath, but for those refinery projects, like we've had a couple come in here lately that are like, we're ready to send to the refinery now. We've got 3 of those that we're looking to send, but it's just looking at that bigger picture and not just staying in our closed off cone here at Lakenheath, seeing the bigger picture and the bigger potential for things, and really even helping our people that bring in those ideas to see that potential within themselves and what they can do to help change the Air Force and make it better from their level.
So this also sounds like it will also translate good outside of the Air Force too. A good experience.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of value in what we learned there, and that could translate to the private sector. Absolutely. But ultimately, I mean, for me, my goal is to make the Air Force better right now, and that's all I care about. I'm not worried about my after the Air Force career quite yet, but it's definitely some knowledge and wisdom that really will help me in the future, especially if I want to stay in this kind of the innovation space and doing things like we do here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, make it better. You know, I'm over here struggling out here. Just kidding. So, anything else?
I think that covers it. I think that covers it from my angle. How'd you think that it went?
Went pretty good. Well, this is Matt Byous, y'all. Welcome to the LibertyWERX podcast. Like, comment, subscribe. Well, not subscribe, and give us some tips. Make it better. Or we could always process improve our new podcast. Thanks for having. Well, thanks for watching. I'm gonna cut that out.